Hey, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Aquilone here. I am so sorry that I did not get a chance to be with you live today. I am actually driving my daughter Madison to college in Florida, and it's a long drive. It's an 11-hour drive to get there. And then we are helping her move into her dorm on Thursday, and then it's an 11-hour drive back on Friday. So I apologize that I'm not here for you with your first rotation, but I look forward to seeing you next rotation. So I wanted to share with you this very first picture is our science lab at PSC. So when we have the opportunity to get back in person, this is where you'll be entering our science lab, and you'll come and sit down on the benches, and we'll learn and explore different science concepts together. This is where sometimes I'll be teaching from, and sometimes I may be teaching from home. So we're just it just depends on what's going on and where I'm at. So the very first thing I wanted to share with you was some things about me, right? So here I am. This is Miss Aquilone. This is my husband, John. We've been married for a really long time. We have one daughter, Haley, who is in her third year of college. She actually goes to college in Asheville. It's about 2.5 hours from here. And then here's my daughter, Madison. It's her freshman year. A freshman year in college means it's her first year in college. And she's the girl that's leaving and going 11 hours away. So this is the daughter that I'm with right now. Couple things about me is summer is my most favorite season of all. I love summer. I love to be outdoors. I love to swim in the pool. I love to plant. I love to read. I like to read outside. Another thing that I love to do is I love to go to musicals. Madison and I enjoy musicals, so we'll go to lots of different musicals. Some of my favorite foods. I enjoy Italian food, so I really like meatballs and spaghetti and ravioli. The other thing is my favorite drink. I like chai tea lattes, and I also like French vanilla iced coffee. So I like cold drinks for the most part. I think that's because it's so hot outside. And I don't know, maybe come the cold months, I think I switched to warm drinks and to keep myself warm. Um, I have two cats, Nermal and Schmutz. Nermal is named after the annoying sidekick character in Garfield. Garfield's an old video cartoon about an orange cat that loved to eat lasagna, and he had an annoying little friend called Nermal, and that's how Nermal got her name. She was annoying. My other cat is named Schmutz. Schmutz is a Yiddish word to mean like filthy, covered in dirt. And Schmutz was rescued from a trash dumpster. So you can imagine she was a little bit filthy. Miss Aquilone went to Florida Atlantic University to go to college. And so my daughter, Madison, she's kind of following in my footsteps. She's going back to Florida, but she's not going to my same college. So that's a little bit about me. Put a thumb up if you have a pet, right? Put two thumbs up if you have a pet that's a cat. Yay! So I'm going to go ahead and click. In our classroom, I use something called an attention getter, right? An attention getter is exactly that. It gets your attention. And the attention getter that I use is a wireless doorbell. It's a doorbell, right? So let's practice, right? So here I am just kind of hanging out, right? And I'm like moving around and I'm kind of in my own world. And then all of a sudden I hear, and when I hear that sound, it tells me to stop, look at the camera, and kind of stop moving. Put my hands at my side, stop moving my feet, and just kind of have my attention so that I know Mrs. Aquilon's getting ready to say something pretty important, right? So we can all practice that again. Are you ready? So here I am. How did you do? Did you stop moving when you heard that doorbell? Thumb up, guys, if you did. I'm super proud of you. So something else I want to share that's really important for our Zoom lessons is this mute button, right? So we have down in the corner in Zoom, so if you follow my little arrow, it'll be down around here when we Zoom, and we're not Zooming now, so it's hard to see. You'll have this microphone, and it'll look like this, right? Sometimes it'll have this red line through it. And if the red line's through it, that means your microphone's turned off and I can't hear you and you can't hear me. Actually, no, rewind. If the microphone's turned off, it means I can't hear you, right? And it's important that when you come to Zoom that you are always muted when the meeting starts, right? Just because if we have 20 friends in our Zoom meeting and everyone's all talking at once, it can really get loud and it's hard to concentrate and focus. So we always are on mute during our Zoom meetings. There may be times, and there probably will be, where I'll ask you to unmute yourself. And what you'll do is you'll just click on it and you'll make that red line disappear. And then your microphone will be on and you'll be able to share some information and I'll be able to hear you. Just like you can turn the microphone on and off, you can do the same thing with the camera. Now the camera allows Miss Aquilon to see your beautiful smiling face. Well, you can turn the camera off and then I can't see you. And that kind of makes me sad because I love to see boys and girls' faces. So make sure that your camera is on while we are Zooming, okay? We have some Zoom virtual classroom rules that I'm actually going to talk about in a few minutes because I actually made another video. So I want you to just keep them in the back of your head and think about them, right? Now, what I want to do is I want us to get up and get some wiggles out. We've been sitting for a little bit of time, about 7 minutes, and that's kind of a long time in my world. I need to get up and I need to do some movement. So I have this cool science song that I want to share with you that we can
healthy music for a child's heart, body, and mind.
And make sure I'm safe.
The Science Song from the CD Children Love to Sing and Dance by The Learning Station.
I'm going to get ready to move, right? So let's move there.
Science.
So make sure you're dancing, move your feet.
Science is a part of our everyday lives. Wonderful surprises right before your very eyes. Say hibernation, evaporation, gravity, and metamorphosis. Hibernation is the way some animals keep warm all day. In the cold winter months like the bear in a cave, birds fly south and that's called migration. Hibernation, migration. Frogs are in the mud and they sleep all day, and squirrels gather nuts in the autumn days so they can stay warm in their winter ways. When they do, then that's called hibernation.
I'm moving my feet. Are you moving your feet?
Say hibernation, evaporation, gravity, and metamorphosis.
Move my feet again.
Evaporation happens fast, starts like a puddle but it doesn't last. The sun comes out and it heats to steam, but you can't see what seems to be evaporation. Evaporation, evaporation. Say hibernation, evaporation, gravity, and metamorphosis. Gravity is a special force. It holds everything very close to the earth, just like a magnet pulling down to the ground. And what goes up must come down. Must come down. Say hibernation, evaporation, gravity, and metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is coming soon for the caterpillar and his cocoon. He changes to a butterfly. I don't know, do you know why it happens? Metamorphosis, say hibernation, evaporation, gravity, and metamorphosis. Science is a part of our everyday lives. Wonderful surprises right before your very eyes. Science. Science. Science.
Woo. Well,
let us know what's your favorite part of the science song.
Thank you so much for joining me during the science song and getting some wiggles out, right? The next thing I want to share with you today that's really important is the important functions of your iPad. I don't know why my mouse is going a little crazy today, and it's actually kind of got a mind of its own, so I apologize. So the first thing I want to share with you is some iPad important parts. Some of you may already know this, and you're an expert, and that's so cool. But there might be some friends that have never played on an iPad or an iPhone, right? So I want to share with you some information, right? The very first thing I want to share with you is where you can find your camera. There are actually 2 cameras, not just one. There are 2 cameras on an iPad. There's one camera that is front facing, and that's great to take like selfie pictures, right? Here's Miss Aquilon's iPad, and that camera is on the front, right? There's another camera that's actually on the back of the iPad, and that's great to take pictures from as well. There's also this button at the bottom called the home button. And the home button allows you to navigate back to your home screen. Like, how cool is that? Another button that's really important is the volume button. And the volume button, if you find your camera, you come over to the right side and your volume buttons are over here. And you can make the volume go really, really loud, or you can make the volume go really, really, really low. And so, the very top of your iPad, near the volume button. So here's the volume button. If you come around the corner, there's your on-off button. So you can turn your iPad on or off. So those are important buttons. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about, you can leave your iPad now and just make sure you're watching, about workspace, right? It's really important that we have a good place to work. In fact, I'm going to move that down there. You need to make sure that you clean up your workspace every day. After you have had your learning time, make sure you put all your materials away, your pencils, your notebooks, your papers, your crayons, your glue stick. It's important that we make sure that we are responsible and we keep our workspace clean, right? You're going to make sure that you always have your technology when you come to a Zoom or a science lab lesson. And you're going to make sure that you keep that technology safe and you're responsible with it. You're going to make sure you have your science notebook. Now, don't worry, guys. If you're in kindergarten, your science notebook is a green notebook that has the word science written in the top corner. But if you are a first grader or second grader, your notebook, your teacher is going to assign a notebook to you and is going to say, use this notebook for science from the EduKits or from your school supplies that you purchased on your own. And then the last thing, make sure you have a pencil. If you want to use crayons, you're more than welcome to use crayons to add more details to your pictures. That would be great as well. But make sure, boys and girls, that you're really respectful of your materials and that you clean up and take care of them. If you leave your materials around and they fall onto the ground and then someone steps on them, they're going to get broken and you're not going to have them to use when you want to use them. So please make sure you take care of them. The next thing is the Canvas tour. Now, this is really important, friends. I wanted you to have a few minutes to kind of go through the Canvas tour. I'm going to talk a little bit about Zoom manners. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Canvas tour real quick. And it's going to bring me to a video that I'm going to play for you because I wanted to record the iPad and kind of let you know about some special features.
Hey boys and girls, Miss Aquilone here. Today I'm going to share with you how you can navigate your Canvas site on the iPad.
So here's your button
So the
right
first thing
here.
you're going to do is open up your Canvas icon, and when you open it up, you're going to have different tiles.
These are
tiles
tiles.
are these little square shapes that have different pictures on them because they go to different classes or courses. Your science lab tile, if you are in kindergarten, is red with a hand lens or a magnifying lens. So I'm going to tap on that, and the very first thing it does is it brings me to the home page. When I go to the home page, there are 5 different buttons. There's a pink button that says contact information, a purple button that says about Mrs. Aquilone, a yellow button that says lessons, a turquoise button that says Zoom rules, and then a blue button that says resources. Of these 5 buttons, the most important button to you is the yellow button. So I'm going to tap on the yellow button because that's the lesson button. The lesson button brings you to the daily lesson. The very first button, and then on the lesson page, you have 2 buttons. You have a turquoise button that when you tap here, it'll take you to our Zoom meeting, which will be a live Zoom meeting. I'm not going to sign in right now because I don't want to attend a live Zoom meeting as I'm sharing with you about Canvas. So I'm going to go back to student, and I do that by touching the word student in the top corner. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to log into Zoom and you're going to attend our Zoom meeting. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to complete your assignment. And by tapping on this blue button, you get.
And I'm going to stop that there because I need to share with you your assignment, okay? And I couldn't share it in the student mode because they still haven't published it yet. And look at me, I tapped on the wrong thing. I tapped on the resources. The resources just has a game for you to play if you have time and you'd like to. So I'm going to click on the resources button. And when I click on the resources button, it brings me again to that live Zoom and the assignment. So I'm going to click on the assignment, and this is what your assignment is for today. So your assignment is, what is science? And what is really cool about this assignment page is that it actually will read the directions to you. So you don't need help from a caregiver. So here's the first direction. Step 1, come right above it, click on the blue triangle.
Click on the book above and listen to the story.
So just follow the directions. Click on the book above. It's going to take you to an external site where you're going to read or you're going to listen to someone read the story for you.
What is
When you're
science?
done, just click the X that was up in the top envelope, right? So watch me again, right? Here's the book. I'm done, right? I've listened to the whole story.
What is science?
Click on that X at the top and you close it out. Then come down to number 2.
Turn to a clean page in your science notebook. If you do not have a science notebook, you may use a blank piece of paper.
So remember I said some of your teachers may not have assigned that science notebook yet, and that's okay, boys and girls. If that's the case, just use a blank piece of paper. So you get a piece of paper and a pencil. If you have crayons, you can pull those out as well.
Draw a picture and tell about something you are excited to learn during Science Lab this year.
So there's your assignment. Go ahead. Make sure you take your time, boys and girls, to draw your picture, label any different items that are in your picture, like if you have a balance scale or if you're drawing a picture of Miss Aquilone, right? Make sure you're labeling who is in your picture. Make sure you're in your picture because that's really important. But go ahead and label who's in your picture. If you are, if you're able to and you'd like to, write a sentence and tell me a little bit more about what you'd like to learn, right? And here's the last one. I'm going to click on the triangle.
Share your work with a caregiver.
So this is your time to take that, that assignment and share it with a caregiver. So again, at the bottom, you have the return to home page. I'm going to go back to my slide deck so that we can share, actually, I think it's here, so that we can share a little bit more about Canvas. Let's see, I'm going to click through this. Let's go ahead and play it from
Yellow
here.
button is important. Go ahead, repeat it. The yellow button is important. Yay!
Yellow button.
The second
Most
button I want
important.
to share with you is contact information. So if your mom should need to email me
Or your dad.
call me for some reason,
Or your caregiver.
you can find all my information on this pink contact page. There's my email, there's the school address, there's the phone number, and then if you scroll to the bottom, you're going to find the return to home button. So I'm going to tap it and go back. The next button is this purple button, and it's all about Mrs. Aquilone. If you tap the triangle, it will actually begin to play a video that I have.
It's Mrs. Aquilone here.
A video that I have created to kind of share a little bit about me, so you can watch that at your leisure. And then underneath that, it has just some more information about me in case your mom or dad would like to know a little bit more about who this person, Mrs. Aquilone, is that's teaching you science this year. Again, if you scroll down, guess what you're going to find? The little house, and the little house will return you back to home. The next button is those Zoom rules that we talked about,
These are really important.
classroom manners. And remember, these are the manners that we should have every time we attend a Zoom class. So we have be on time, right? We want to make sure that we can get our lessons started. We only have 20 minutes together, and I want to make sure that I can share all that information with you. Make sure you're acting like you're at school when you're on a Zoom lesson, right? You have to sit, find a nice workspace that you can work at, where you can sit up straight and tall, have your feet on the floor. You can have your device in front of you. Make sure you have your science notebook and your pencil. If you don't have a science notebook, a piece of paper will work as well, right? Make sure you stay in one spot, right? Sometimes kids like to lay on their belly when they're on their Zoom calls, and that's fine too, but just make sure that you stay in that spot and that you have your materials that you need with you, right? Make sure you come dressed to your Zoom meeting, right? We can't be wearing our pajamas. Well, even though, you know, Miss Aquilone loves to see those Barbie pajamas
I do.
or the Ninja Turtles because
I
they're
do.
super cute and cool, we need to
But-
make sure we're in our school clothes when we attend a Zoom meeting, right? Make sure you keep yourself muted, right? Muted means your microphone's off and that you will not distract others from learning, because again, that's a manner that we need to have. Make sure your video's on. I want to see your face. Make sure you raise your hand to talk, and Miss Aquilone will do her best to call on you quickly and answer any questions you may have. Boys and girls, it's really important we have our listening ears on at all times, and that we're being really good listeners and we're thinking about what Miss Aquilone is sharing. And then the next one is make sure you don't eat during Zoom calls, right? You have to come to class ready, so you should already have had your breakfast or your snack. There's a structured breakfast and snack time, so we should not be eating while we're on Zoom calls. And then the last Zoom rule is really to have fun and do our best. At the bottom,
And again, at the bottom, there's that return to home screen. So I'm going to go back to our slide deck, and we've already shared the assignment now, so you know what it is. So boys and girls, we are out of time now. In fact, we went over a little bit, and I apologize for that. So the next thing you're going to do is go ahead and click your assignment button that I shared with you and have a go get started with your assignment. I hope you have an amazing day learning, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Boys and girls, bye-bye. See you soon.